Princess Ange goes across the scene of a young mother having her infant daughter taken away by the authorities because she is a normal person who is unable to use mono while on her way home after a lacrosse battle. Andrew approaches the mother and gives her a propagandist anti-Norma feeling, further infuriating her. Ange's mother, Sophie, presents her with a ring that night to commemorate her baptism ceremony, a coming-of-age tradition connected to her accession to the throne. Her brother Julia informs the audience that Ange is truly a normal person herself on the day of the baptism ceremony. Safia, her mother's daughter, aids her in escaping while everyone is in shock. Her father is restrained and locked up while her sister Sylvia collapses. A new emperor is then proclaimed by Julia. Ange is taken to an island jail called Arsenal after Safia is slain, while attempting to aid her daughter in escaping, where she is stripped of her assets and citizenship rights, given the new name Ange, and forced enlisted in the military. On her first day as a soldier, Arsenal Commander Jill places her in the 1st Squadron under the command of Captain Zola, a hedonistic woman who introduces Ange to the unit. She then works in the pyramidal simulator under the supervision of Celia's newly acquired lieutenant and Zola's second-in-command, while remembering that her aerial lacrosse games are comparable to the pair-mail controls. After several days of training, Zola says that Ange is doing well with her routine, and Celia offers her a place to sleep at the canteen. Zola's allies have just arrived to remind her that her loyalty status has been lost, and she must now accept that she is a Norma. As she leaves the table, Coco tells Angela that she likes her and wants to explore the mystery surrounding the Empire. She drafts a letter asking her release in her room. Upon reading Angie's request, Jill declines, and when Zol tries to assault her, she fights back, causing Zola's fake eye to protrude during their argument. The 1st Squadron is sent out in their dispatch and seeks to leave while Foolish pursues her, and Coco attempts to join Ange and going back to the Mystery Empire. The command is warned that a singularity portal is about to open, but when the portal opens, Coco is slain by a dragon. She is currently in disbelief after seeing the dragon's onslaught. The squadron switches its pair of male fighters into assault mode and engages the horde when the dragon, which is a brigade made up of 22 schooners, makes an appearance. Miranda laments Coco's passing, but the schooners devour her as Zola prepares to strike the fatal blow, and the galleon-style dragon is astounded and unintentionally ran into her. A galleon type then crashes into the units, destroys them, and survives, but Zola perishes in the hospital. Her unit blames an injured Edge for her death. Celia and Hildegard are elevated by Joe to the positions of captain and lieutenant, respectively. Joe selects a pair of men who are considered to be unique pilots by other pilots. Ange awakens Vocus and enters assault mode, destroying the galleon type as the unit pursues their prior adversary. A galleon tech dragon rushes after and assaults the unit. She cuts her hair back at the Arsenal Cemetery to symbolize her new existence there and makes a commitment to do whatever it takes to survive. After completing their task, the squadron collected their reward, with Ange receiving the largest sum. Celia is shown studying leadership manuals for the military in the meantime, and Vivian begins to warm up to Ange. However, unrealistic fantasies of flying Vilnius and thinking about Zola's rooms kept the hangar's leaders from concentrating. The squadron holds its position during their subsequent assault until Andrew charges forward. Vilkit is changed into assault mode, even though Focus experiences a malfunction throughout the assault. Ange's cockpit was filled with water during their struggle on the seat, rendering her comatose and causing her to later wake up tightly on a bed naked. A schooner rushes to save Ange. While the kid is explaining her current predicament, she tries to scream, which results in her breaking free and the boy getting beaten. In the meantime, she would instruct Celia at Arsenal to look for Ange near the shore, where villas and attack mode are partially submerged in the water. While the kid pursues her as it rains and she seeks shelter, she finds Hilda's undergarments and learns that an intake valve was the source of Vocus malfunction. She then gets bitten by a snake, whose venom renders her comatose. The lad treats her in his hiding place after saving her by sucking the poison from her left leg. The boy introduces himself as Tusk, but keeps his true identity a secret. They share some quality time together before it is cut short when a fleet carrying a Braid-class dragon appears above them. A schooner then attacks them from the water, and as Ange begins to lose hope, Vocus unexpectedly reacts to her ring and shoots the schooner, killing it at dawn before formally introducing herself to Tusk and the rescue team. Tusk subsequently pays his respects to his slain teammates before departing the island in a transport vehicle, with a pair of male and former personal manufactured Momoko stowed inside. She was then caught off guard and simply taken aback by Mocha's appearance, despite Mocha being overjoyed to see her. As a result, Mocha grows chilly toward her and resents her, because Mocha serves as a reminder of her existence at the palace. Mocha is about to depart the arsenal the following day. We bought her at the last minute with money from her savings to Haltzman Mocha's departure. On their next defensive sortie, Talia and her squadron intercepted a land-based dragon that was casting a spell of gravitational pull that rendered everyone grounded and unable to attack. Following orders to destroy the dragon's left horn in order to remove the spell of gravitational pull, the squadron killed the dragon. Later, Mocha intercepts an emergency message where Sylvia asks that she found an edge and then screams as a shoe are being attacked. Arsenal hold the annual festa as giving more as a day off from their usual duties and sneaks into Misty as mentioned and talks to her that she needs help. Meanwhile, the Mocha searches for Ange and Hilda talks to her at gunpoint. Simultaneously, Misty head to the armory to gather weapons and proceed to the hangar. However, hold the commands via gunpoint to Momoko to control the transport, and Ange tease them as well, pointing her gun at Hilda, forming unlikely alliances. Hilda frees the transport and Ange tells Momoko to fly the aircraft after reaching your destination, and with Momoko and Hilda part ways and tells that they must survive so they can meet again. And Jim America heads to the Mystery Empire. Hilda seals some close before heading to her mother, who lives in the outskirts of Andra Union. As she was about to reveal her name to her mother, a young girl appears, and her mother called the girl Hilda, which surprises her. The young Hilda learns that Hilda is in normal, which scares and causes her to fame at her mother's request. Hilda leaves, but is soon ambushed by the police. Meanwhile, Angela and Momoko prepare their advance on the Imperial Palace. They head to the IRA hangar and meet Angie's friend Akiko, was terrified upon seeing Edge. As in steals a vehicle, Akil attempts to make an emergency call, but Angie quickly discovers Akil's call and restrains her, but she breaks free nonetheless. As they maneuver around the Imperial capital, they are ambushed and chase until Ange enters a hidden passage known only to royalty. As they reach the Imperial Palace and just confronted by Imperial guards and rescue Sylvia. However, Sylvia turns on Edge and cuts her arm with a knife, seemingly blaming her sister for her paralysis and the death of their mother. Devastated by Sylvia's words, and just captured by the Imperial guards to await trial by Giulio, and just presented in front of the entire Mystery Empire for a public trial, where she is whipped by Sylvia and ruthlessly mocked and scorned by the crowd. Julia reveals, and she had their father executed and condemns her to a public hanging. She's then hanged, but Tusks suddenly saves her. A trio flee from the Empire, with wielding Julia's face using a throne blade. As they head to Arsenal, Tuz tells Ads that Sheil knows everything about Vocus and his orders that Angela survive. Upon arriving at Arsenal, Ange and Hilda are detained, and they tell their bitter stories. Realizing what fools they were to believe there was hope in their respective countries. In both decide to destroy the twisted world they once had hoped for once they are released, then and start singing an entire Arsenal staff hears it. Disturbed after their encounter with Angie during the execution, Sylvia heads to Julia's room, where she finds Giulio and Reset in a seemingly romantic moment. Risa drops a peculiar liquid into Julia's mouth, and Sylvia sees Risa as a monster with wings and a tail. As she finds out the truth, Risa uses her tail to strangle Sylvia, who screams for help. Meanwhile, a singular portal opens above Arsenal, and a vast array of schooner-type dragons appears, storming the base along with 3 pair males led by a red pair of male, which unleashes a powerful beam, which destroys a good part of Arsenal and the island, killing several pilots along its path. Celia's squadron is sent to intercept the enemies, but Celia uses Vocus despite Jill's objections. Jill orders the release of Hilda and Ange, and assumes command of Vocus, engaging the mysterious pair male evenly in combat. The mysterious pair of males suddenly stops, and the pilot starts singing. Realizing it's the same song she sang, and responds by singing as well, causing her ring to glow, which makes the Vocus react. Both pair males fire, being the collided midair, and confronts the pilot and seemingly sees their history and relation. The pilot quickly leaves, telling Hans the truth lies with the aura. In the aftermath, Jill assesses the condition of Arsenal while Vivian enjoys lying on her bed, even though the room is destroyed. The leaders of the world hold a meeting together to discuss the dragon's attack on Arsenal, but ended up arguing with each other. Embryo, one of the leaders, proposes that they destroy the current world in order to create a new one. Meanwhile, the Outwards Hilda assumes the position of captain as Celia has been detained for disobeying orders, and talk about the history of the world, including how humans obtained the ability to use mana and why Normas were discriminated against. Ange later notices that Jill did not answer her question about the dragons, and is about to question Jill further when suddenly a dragon survivor is discovered in the base. It is revealed that the dragon is Vivian, and she hums and just saw him, which Ange recognizes and starts singing along with Vivian that was in dragon form. Vivian has returned to human form and realizes that dragons are actually human beings, and just devastated upon discovering a group of dragons being burned, and vows not to kill dragons or pilot Vocus anymore. However, a fleet arrives at Arjuna, with Giulio on board the flagship. As Julia's fleet advances to Arduino, Jill orders the entire staff to ignore the message and prepare to defend themselves, as she initiates Operation Liberta's embryo sacrifices as pawns to stop the dragons. Joe saves Celia from another dragon and pursues Embryo, who goes after Ange. Afterward, and Sala manage to free Aura, as everyone watches in AW. Embryo gets ready to leave when Jill appears asking to go with him. When he refuses, she hits him with a cryogenic bullet, freezing his body. But his machine frees him, and Jill is mortally wounded. As the distortion continues while she's distracted, Embryo grabs, and from her machine on the Aurora, Celia brings Joe back to the hangar bay and asks for a stretcher, but Joe refuses and reconciles with Celia with her dying breath. The convergence starts up again, but Or shields them and tells them that the Villas can take them to the place Embryo is hiding out, as it will answer the desires of its user. Meanwhile, Andrew wakes up in a bed in a familiar place. As she tries to attack Embryo, he hits her back on the Aurora. Hilda reluctantly asked us to use the ring to wake up Vocus, as he had a stronger bond with Ange, but nothing seems to work. Embryo corners, and she was calling for Wickus, but without the ring it does not answer. He prepares to violate her when she starts singing the endless psalm, which just hears and pleads with vocals. To help protect Ange, it wakes up and links with the other two Ragnar males and Solace machines. Tusk Hitler's Celia and Sala warp to the inner space region, and Sala then starts to sing her portion of the psalm. After that, Tusk frees and picks her up, where they soon reunite. He gets off and prepares to do Embryo with Sala's sword, and prepares for battle when the Vilkit transforms once more into Night Vicus, and she and the others face off against Embryo's machine. And someone copies on the ground. Tusk injures Embryo, realizing that it is the original. He presses on despite getting injured himself in the sky. Hilda and Celia both realize that their machines are the same, and they both gain control of them, and they destroy the copies and fires her weapon and damages the machine, destroying it altogether. While at the same time, Tess kills Embryo. Arjuna returns to the real world, and Or thanks them for their help. With their mission over and having regained their freedom, the group returns to the island, where Ange voices her intent to work peacefully with the dragons, while deciding to let the Otherworld citizens live by themselves and figure things out on their own. And the Otherworld, Sylvia, along with a group of other humans, have learned to live without mana and are now surviving in the wasteland that was once their world. The end. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more cool recaps. See you next time.